Okay, that was Demon Slayer, Season 3, Episode 7. I'm just, like, immediately going back to try to look at Haganeska's face more.
Totally cool with me. Look at
God.
him. Look at him.
I get why he wears the mask. It's similar to Inosuke.
Yeah, honestly. Mm-hmm.
You just... Somebody who's so selfless that they understand that they don't want to cause distraction to other people during their day-to-day struggles and lives that...
And he's so, like, concentration and being concentrated on your art. I mean, he doesn't want to break the concentration of the other swordsmiths in the village, you know?
Yeah.
Or the demon slayers that get his swords.
Bro, Gyoko wishes. Like Gyoko has a vision of himself in mind, and that embodiment is Haganeska. And he's, like, so fucking frustrated that he's just, like... As much as he tries to fake be that person, he doesn't have the sheer will and grit and perfection that Haganeska exudes.
Mm-hmm. The true love for, like, putting your whole soul into something. Like, Gyoko's like, oh, I'm gonna use a bunch of words, and that's gonna show how powerful and awesome my piece is. But, like, that's nothing about putting your soul into your work and putting blood, sweat, and tears into it.
You knew how fickle and trashy of an artist he was based off of how much over-explaining Gyoko had to do.
Yeah, like sometimes it's nice to read like the little plaques next to art pieces, but it's also nice to kind of like look at it and come up with your own wondering of what the artist meant by what they did. And honestly, I'm kind of scared for Gyoko's flashback of his human life if we ever get it, because normally I feel kind of bad for the demons when we get that, but I don't think I'm gonna feel bad for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not feeling it yet.
I just have a feeling that he was just like he is as a demon. You know, some people are just lost causes.
Which is kind of nice in comparison and pairing with who he was sent with, being Hantengu. Hantengu's kind of development as the type of demon Hantengu is and the power that Hantengu has can definitely lead us to some ideas of how probably awful his human life might have been.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to have them have been sent together.
I think that it's interesting that they've been sent together because there's like pairings, right? You even talked about like love and hatred, and I was like, okay, well, what's the pairing between Hantengu and Gyoko? Like hatred and what? But no. It's like it's breaking the fourth wall, right? Hantengu having this hatred form is resonating with me of how much I hate Gyoko.
Yeah, there you go. It's
I don't think I have he's my most hated character in this entire universe. Gyoko.
Prick, yeah.
He is the freshman year of art school. He dropped out because nobody got him and his work.
No one would listen to him explain his work enough, and he was like, "They just don't get it."
He was too good, right?
He's like telling everyone that he's better. He's saying he's in all these galleries. I highly doubt it. I don't want to see.
Bro, Imgur isn't a gallery. Reddit's not a gallery. Fucking hate Gyoko.
I don't want to see his.
What a piece of shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. But I really loved this scene. And how Gyoko wasn't even like, this is a demon that has fun, like, killing people. And he's just like, how do I break this guy's concentration? Like, he doesn't even care at the moment about killing or finding the thing in the village that's being protected and hidden. He's like, I finally met my match.
Yeah. Fucking Muzan's like trying to tap in, be like,
dude,
we have a mission right now.
Hello,
I gave you some of my blood. And fucking Gyoko sitting there like, nah. Like, this is my greatest rival. I could so easily kill him, but that I don't care.
It's not about that right now.
I wonder if Gyoko will just end up, like, being the cause of his own demise out of just pure respect.
I think, honestly, that would kind of fit Gyoko's end to probably out of either distraction being able to be killed, because he's very distracted. Humility. I don't know. He could easily be distracted right now because he's very enamored with Haganeska, which I don't blame him. How could you not be?
Yeah.
And I think with obviously we have Tokito just broke out. I don't know how quickly Gyoko is gonna realize that, especially as Gyoko has now decided he has a mission which is to break the concentration of this person in front of him. I don't know how much he's going to care about the mission of killing the demon slayers or whatever else he has to do here. So I think Tokito might have maybe an easier shot. Honestly, I would also like it if Haganeska just was like, shut up, you're breaking my concentration.
But
I hate you.
that in itself would break his concentration. He can't even say shut up. Like he's like he doesn't know anybody else is in the room, right? Like truthfully. And so
Tokito's just gonna take him out. Haganeska's gonna have no idea there was an even demon here.
Yeah.
He's not even gonna know there was a demon here.
I can see it going like one of two ways basically, and that is, you know, a little more of torture on Haganeska, unfortunately, but Gyoko being a bit distracted, he ends up battling it out with Tokito, and then Tokito would win. Or Gyoko and the rest of the demons that he controls will all start flooding to the shack out of pure, like, admiration, and then they will all carry Haganeska with the sword to Tanjiro so that they can, have the honor of being slayed by such beautiful craftsmanship.
If you were really enamored by an artist's, like, the making of the piece, you know, some artists actually like show their process, and that's actually some of the most interesting things you can look at as an artist's process. So maybe I like that. Maybe they're like, we want to see it in action now that we saw this beautiful piece be created.
Use it on me.
Of like soul. Honestly, Gyoko might be like, kill me with that beautiful sword or whatever.
Now we're just giving him too much credit. He wouldn't be. I get if we did go down that road though, it'd be more like, psh, your art's not that good. You couldn't even kill me by slicing me with it. And then it just slices through him like butter.
And then, like, as he starts to realize who he was as a human again, there's, like, a single tear.
Yeah.
And he's like, that sword was beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. I
did have a question about Tokito in this place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I want to hear what you were thinking.
I don't know.
Is it a separate...
They can go anywhere.
Part of the show. Okay. My question, because you kind of said it, is so who gets the sword?
It's Tanjiro's.
I know, but or is going to use it next? Because the only reason I'm posing that question is Tokito's right there, and his sword is all banged up.
As long as Haganeska's alive, I don't see Haganeska letting Tokito use it.
Fair. So, I mean, I'm sure he has some other swords in his shack that he could just... It makes me think of how Tokito was just like, just grab all the swords and run. Yeah.
I don't know how far to read into Kotetsu's last breath thing, because it would... On one hand, like, fuck no, I don't want Kotetsu to die. But on the other hand, like, the narrative of him giving his last breath to Tokito, in turn of Tokito helping him out earlier, would be like...
Does it lessen the power of it?
I don't think so. Personally,
it's a big. I mean, you don't know if you're gonna die, and to Kotetsu, he could be thinking like, if this is, I need to give it to him so he could save everyone, you know, or I'm just so focused on saving this person, so it probably doesn't matter at all if he was alive, like in terms of like the power of this moment that happened. I don't feel like Kotetsu needs to be dead.
I agree with you.
To keep that this moment was powerful at all.
Yep.
So I'm going to hope that he's alive.
Yeah. I do think that the sword Haganeska is working on will be the thing that inevitably will be sharp enough to cut off Hantengu's small head.
Because I doubt if they defeat Hatred that it's going to be over. He's literally protecting the main body, the fear. And I think you're going to have to cut through that tiny little head.
Hatred's such an interesting perspective. Like at first I was like, okay, he's like a superhero to these other versions of himself, right? Like he's coming in like, you villains.
No, don't suck me in.
Yeah. But like through his dialogue, it seemed more specifically about like you can have those feelings of protection and like you know, oh, you're a villain and like you have the right to those as long as somebody that you personally know is involved. Mm-hmm. And if they aren't involved, then you shouldn't have any connection to it.
I like that thought because when you think about Hantengu and what we can kind of possibly surmise of what Hantengu was like in life, there's definitely this idea that you can get of like self-preservation. I think the idea of only focusing on the things that are in your proximity, in like your immediate proximity, the things that you care about, that why would you ever extend yourself further for like something separate from protecting yourself and
Yeah.
the things that you love.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it shows a different type of person to do
Yeah, yeah.
something like the Demon Slayers and Tanjiro do.
I liked that, like, so there's a step, right? There's like a difference of level between regular Demon Slayers and Hashira, of course, but it's shown to me as, like, it shows itself to me the most when they're faced with an upper rank. Because in terms of every single person just stop, like, they're too scared to move, right?
Mhm.
Because of the, like, intensity of the atmosphere of
It was like
this
he was
villain.
clutching their heart.
Yeah, but the one thing about Hashira is that in every case we've seen it so far, what? Oh, obviously Rengoku's a great example of it in terms of Akaza and not giving up, set your heart ablaze. But even Tengen, like,
Never
he talked
see him-
so much
Mhm.
shit to Daki and was like, "You're not who I'm looking for. Stop crying. You're not
Yeah, yeah.
strong." And then sure, Gyutaro, he was like, "This guy's strong. This isn't gonna be easy." But there wasn't that semblance of fear, and I was worried here because I'm like, okay, we want Tanjiro to become a Hashira. We
Mhm.
want him to become stronger. What will push him past that fear point to get closer to where a Hashira is mentally when facing somebody this strong? And I love that being the reason. There's actual, like, dialogue and talking through it, and it's a motivation based off of this other demon's.
And what do we have kind of partnered
beliefs.
with that same idea in this episode is Muichiro kind of talking to himself about how he should have been stronger because he's the Hashira and he made some mistakes.
Yeah.
We were just saying, like, Rengoku and Tengen, there was this confidence there was this lack of, like, showing fear, and it's almost this, like, step that if they were facing this hatred demon right now, they probably wouldn't be shaking the same way Genya, Nezuko, and Tanjiro are, and having this inability to really push out words, and their Genya's gun's getting heavy. And what is that difference there? Is it just putting your fear in the back of your mind and rising above it and able to just be like, yeah, I know I could die here. I know this is scary, but I need to do this?
I'm sure, like, obviously, so, like, a big part of it's genuine skill, right? But it really does seem like that mentality, that confidence, that sure of what you're doing is the right thing, and you're not going to, like, allow this person to harm any more people, regardless of, like, of the potential of how strong they are. Like, if that fear of death, like, all of that's out the window. It doesn't matter, because just like the person who forged this sword, all the Hashiras have in mind is that single-minded determination that they are going to defeat the demon in front of them and make sure nobody else dies.
It's like when we have Tanjiro envision this thread that links him to the neck to be able to slice the head off the demons. It's like they have that in themselves of, like, a permanent, like, a determination that no, this, like, almost like how Gyoko right now is so concentrated on Haganeska, and Haganeska is so concentrated on the sword.
Yeah.
There's, like, this wanting to pour your whole soul right now and push past all your boundaries, push past it all in order to achieve this one goal and fight this one thing in front of you.
Yeah, it reminds me mostly last season to when Tanjiro wasn't breathing in fighting Daki.
Yeah.
Like, it was just that, like, eyes wide open. I'm not even, like, thinking, right? I'm just doing. I'm just acting. And it's like that immersion is just so... it's inspirational, you know, to other people too. I wrote this down in what you were just saying.
I mean, I'm sure he has some other swords in his shack that he could just... I mean, I'm sure he has some other swords in his shack that he could just... I mean, I'm sure he has some other swords in his shack.
I mean, I'm sure he has some other swords in his shack.